Hello everybody, welcome back. Making a second Summoners War video. The first one was obviously just kind of an introduction. It's funny, and everybody that knows me in real life, they know me. I don't know, I'm a very lively person, and for some reason, like, I've tried to make some videos, and I don't know, I'm not myself. It's very confusing, and but it's something I got to work on. Just trying to create a different vibe, a different energy, because it's easier when you're talking to another person, you're having a conversation, than when you're talking to yourself. I mean, everybody thinks you're crazy already. You're like, this guy's in there talking to himself. People that probably do this for a living and then have not roommates, they have people that like live next door to them or whatever, and they're like, does that guy have people over all the time? And they're like, nah, nobody ever comes to his house. Like, I think we should get him checked out probably. But this video I wanted to do because it is funny because they just put out, they had that interview, you could find it on Reddit, where they were talking about a few of the things they were looking at doing, and I kind of wanted to, I'll say bitch for a little bit, because I love this game, and going at the trajectory it'll eventually fall apart, just because they're doing what some of the other mobile games that I've played in the past do, which is not really try to continue creating content, not really try to continue to create content, but not try to actually keep the players happy, because that's how you're going to keep the game going, if you keep the players happy. And there are a lot of things in this game that I think are real easy fixes, in my opinion, but they just haven't been done yet. What? Hey, you! Stop making weird noises back there. Yeah, I'm looking at you. I have a lot of cats, and they do weird things. I don't ask questions. So before this, I actually played a lot of Clash of Clans pretty competitively, and that game, I'm not going to say it died, but that game got stale at the end because they really just didn't do anything. It was just war and cheating, and that was it. And they didn't even try to stop the cheating until it was way too late. I'm not sure why I have these headphones on. Oh, I could put music on. Whoopsie. Here we go. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm not really sure why they didn't try to stop the cheating. I mean, there was botters, there was modders. The game was just cheater's paradise. Nobody cared, nobody did anything, and the game eventually, for me, it just became not competitive. When you don't cheat or can't cheat, and everybody else, not everybody else, but a lot of the top tier players are, it's just not going to be interesting. So the game for me eventually stopped being interesting. So there are a lot of things in Summoners War I think need to be fixed. I'm going to go over a few of them. There's actually one that they already talked about, which is kind of funny because I was gonna bitch about it, but we'll talk about it. So the first thing, and everybody always talks about this, is runes. Violent runes need to be fixed in some fashion, because the biggest thing that runes PvP, in my opinion, is violent runes. I don't really care about the meta. I mean, not that I don't care about it. I think the meta is fine the way it is. I think monsters are fine. You can have a bunch of nat 5s and still lose because of rune quality. But when you go up against say one of your standard guild battle pairs is Chasun and Theo, and as soon as both of them proc twice in 2 battles in 2 turns, and you lose because of it, you're just like, oh, that was fun. There's no actual strategy or competitiveness to that, because there was nothing you could have done. There's no input you could have put in to fix that, to prevent that from happening. So violent, the easiest way to fix violent, in my opinion, so these are all my opinions, this is the way that I think to fix them. So violent, the easiest way to fix it is just remove secondary procs. It says 22% for another turn. That's it. Leave it at that. Because there's never a point when like a monster violent procs one time and you're like, oh man, that was why we lost. It was more like that monster violent proc twice or 3 times and I lost because of it. Like that is, I think that's the easiest way to balance. I mean, for me, the second thing, you shouldn't be able to violent proc out of crowd control, because if you think about it, every other rune maybe besides Swift, can't be used out of crowd control. If you're frozen, you can't benefit from your fatal runes because you're not going to attack. You can't benefit from your blade runes because you can't attack, etc., etc. Obviously, with Swift, you're faster. But for me, that's another thing that frustrates me. You go through all the trouble of freezing somebody, stunning somebody, whatever, and then they just violent proc out of it and still attack you. And you're like, oh, that was fun. So I think that's the easiest way to fix violent. The other, honestly, most of the runes are pretty balanced, except violent and, for me, destroy. Like, destroy just is god awful. There literally is no use for it. I think the easiest way to fix that one is just to change it. I don't think there's a way to balance it. Most of the destroy mechanic, the destroy HP mechanic, is kind of broken. I think the easiest way to fix it is just to change it. I thought of an idea. It might be overpowered, but it's an idea at least. If you hit them and they don't resist, so accuracy resistance check, it would turn off runes. So essentially, if they had violent, for one turn, they wouldn't be able to violent proc. If they had Swift, it would remove the speed. If they had Fatal, it would remove that bonus. Whatever it may be, it would remove the bonus they get from the runes they have on. Not the actual, the hard stats to it, but the bonus stats that they get from it. I think that would be kind of interesting. I don't know if it's relevant. It's obviously PvP, but let's be real. Most Necro stuff is PvP anyway. So... yeah, I think, and that's the thing, like, I play to it. Pretty much every monster I have is on Fatal. Fatal. Is on Violent, so I play into that. The only destroy runes most people use are broken sets. I mean, you never like, oh man, what should we build that guy? Oh, I'll build him Fatal Destroy. Like, no, you build him Fatal Blade or Fatal Broken, whatever. Like, I have a bunch of good destroy runes, but to be honest, they're not very... the set makes no sense to me. It really doesn't. So that's the two ways I think they fix runes. I like the new runes, honestly. I like the change they made to where you can, like, they're easier to craft. The enhanced runes, I got this bad boy the other day. I was excited about this one. The enhanced, the determination, I don't actually know hey, they're here. Fight, tolerance, etc. I like those runes. They're catering towards more of the end game stuff that a lot of the players are getting into and need to start building towards. Although a lot of times you have players that are building these runes that actually can already do R5. So I don't know. Obviously, we're gonna need more content at some point. The other thing I'll touch on a little bit is summoning. Everybody bitches about summoning. We all bitch about summoning, mostly because we just want Nat 5s for free all the time. I mean, it's not that I've gotten lucky or unlucky. Like, I have a decent amount of Nat 5s. Unfortunately, not many of mine are useful to me. I care more about the PvE stuff and being more efficient on auto, just because I like to. I mostly play Summoner's War when I'm doing something else. So, but for me, I don't care that much. The only thing that I really think frustrates players. The one thing I think frustrates players the most is when you summon another Sigmarus, or when you summon, like, for me, I have 2 Chiwus. So I think one way to really fix annoying players with summoning rates would be to just make it so you can't summon any dupe Nat 5s. Now, sometimes dupe Nat 5s, maybe there's maybe there's an on and off switch where you can choose if you want to or not. I'm assuming most players would choose not to. But I think that would help a little bit, because people get really frustrated when you summon a second or a third. I have a guy in my guild. I think he has 3 monkeys, or 3 water monkeys. Like, I don't know. That's the kind of stuff that I've seen people that are just like, I can't do this anymore. I just summon a 3rd Sigmarus or something. And you're like, yeah, I feel for that person. I really do. Because you finally hit that light and you hit the Nat 5, and then you're like, oh, that's fun. So that's one way. The summoning rates, I don't know. I think the summoning rates are fine. I really don't care that much, because eventually you get all the monsters you need. Maybe not all the monsters you need, but eventually you're going to get Nat 5s. Eventually. And, like, I haven't put money on this account in, I don't know, over a year. And even when I did, I just bought some of the big packs. Oh, I bought maybe it was less than a year. I bought the when the intermediate pack came out. And you know, I mean, you could see I have a decent amount of not fives and a bunch of weird stuff I'm building. So look at this guy, so drunk. Well, you know, just to have him here. So I think that would help, not being able to summon F5s. Like I said, I think the summoning rate's fine. I am under the impression that, well, I wish we knew. You know, I wish they were more open. That's one thing I really, that annoys me a bunch is, I think if Comtuos was a little more honest with things, I think people would. I mean, I know myself. I'll just speak for myself. I would bitch less, because if they said, yeah, here's the summoning rates, they just gave us the numbers, and they told us, you know, this is the way it is, I think a lot of people would just be fine. It is what it is. At that point, you know, and you're like, all right, here's the summoning rates, whatever. You know, I mean, when you hear stories about people who are like, oh, I went 42 scrolls without lightning, you're like, yeah, but there's, you know, the other side of the story where the guy just hit, you know, 4 lightnings in a premium pack, and you're like, all right, well, that kind of makes up for the other guy. It's just, I mean, it's RNG. If you're rolling a dice and you roll it 20 times and you hit, you know, and you hit no 20s, and then your friend rolls the same dice and hits 4 20s, I mean, it's just the way it goes. So I think the summoning rates are fine. As long as, like I said, as long as they're honest and we know what's going on. Guild battles is another thing. It really, I mean, I feel, so obviously I played Clash of Clans before this, so the clan was a big integral part of the game. Like, and it was enjoyable. That's what kept a lot of people playing. I kept playing Clash for, I don't know, 3 or 4 months, where all of my friends stopped playing, but I had found a really good guild that took me in. I became decent friends with some of the people, and you know, it was really good to communicate. It was a competitive environment. It made it better, and it made it so I sunk my teeth in a little deeper, which made it so I played the game longer and enjoyed the game more. Like, I have one buddy of mine, my buddy Miggy, that, you know, I became real friends with him. Now, you know, he lives very far away from me, but I became good friends with him just because of that atmosphere. You know, we were both really into it. We were both super into the competitiveness. We were both into war. I don't know. It was definitely a good environment, and it helped. Whereas, like, it helped all of us to kind of bond and become friends. Whereas, like, the guild environment now is just like, hey, use your swords. If you don't use your swords, we're going to boot you or sit you. And you're like, okay, you know. I mean, I have, the cool thing is, a shout out to my, one of my VPs, Star Chastity. She, I never met her, but she's been in our guild since pretty much the beginning. Whoa. I'm getting a phone call from work. That can't be good. So she's been with us forever, and you know, we're friends on, you know, social media, and it's kind of cool, but I mean, that's the thing, like, the chat system's not good, the guild battles are not that interesting. It's just, something needs to be revamped. So I know they talked about it a little bit. They have the 3v3s, or they're talking about, like, which is exactly, it's funny, that's exactly what I was going to suggest. That was what I suggest for Clash of Clans too, have like live 5v5s real quick. And well, yeah, that didn't happen until I think it was way too late at that point. Maybe I was gone already. Other things, first off, they need to have an auto queue. So anybody that doesn't run a guild, here's a real frustrating thing. On Sundays, if you don't queue up, or, you know, apply for battle or whatever it may be, there, and you miss and you forget, you don't get to battle the whole week. You can't just queue up on Monday. So they really need, that's something that absolutely needs to be fixed. Like, I just don't understand why. Yeah, this is a lot of people have said this, but it should just have either an auto queue or have the ability to queue on Monday or queue any day, you know, any day therefore after Sunday for that week. And then a few other minor things. I think it'd be kind of cool to be able to, just in your guild, share, like, say, share your monster. so that they can click and like see the stats and the build and the runes and whatever. It's really it's a process. Everybody knows this, to actually go to somebody's island and look at it and kind of like, oh, here, let me look at this monster. Whereas like, oh yeah, check this out. Look at these runes. What do you think? Whatever. And I think in regular chat it would just spam more than it already is, which I'll get into later. But in guild battles, or in your guild, I think that's another way to kind of promote, being a team, promote being a guild. And back to the 3v3 battles, I think it'd be kind of cool. Like, I still play a little bit, but I used to play a lot of Magic the Gathering, and there was a whole series, well, not a whole series, a whole season of, they had like 3v3s. So you had like your A player going against their A, and B versus your B versus their B, our C versus their C, and then whoever won 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 3 won the actual thing. So I think that would be where you just like maybe queue up with 3 total or 5 total players and go against 3 or 5. They obviously they should pick a number and make it easier to actually find people to fight. And then you do it like that. I don't know, maybe a separate system or something. It's hard to say, but at least something else to do, as opposed to just kind of the poor chat system and then these guild battles that are really just arena to me. Minus, the 3v3s are a little different, obviously, but most people don't love guild battles. I'll talk about a few random things. The events. I appreciate Compto's giving a bunch of free stuff to us. That's the thing. Like I said, I haven't had to put. Might as well just run some Gigantes, some big blues until. Hold on one sec. Don't want to buy that. You ain't gonna get me. So yeah, doing the events. I appreciate all the events because I haven't had to put on crystals or anything, but I don't know. They seem like the same stuff rehashed with different names. This flame event. I mean, somebody can post in the comments. It was something else named before, and then every rune power up event is chocolates or stones or biscuits or broccoli, whatever it may be. Something stupid. It does. I would like some creativity where I'm doing something, I don't know, something different. Like 5-star max of slime, and then you get whatever, or I don't know, do fight the hell mode of each scenario, or defeat every level of B1 through B10 of giants, whatever it may be. I don't know. That's my point. They get kind of boring, and it's just something like, all right, I have to do this to get the free stuff. Whereas like for me, I kind of like a little interaction where I'm having fun doing things. Like I love, because for this flame event, I just log on. I'm like, I don't even pay attention. I just like, all right, here we go, doing this and good. And maybe the other thing, and I didn't think of this until now, is kind of try to maybe promote more playing, because I don't know, that's not the right wording. Kind of reward the hardcore players, because I feel like during these events, like I play a decent amount, but let's be real, you could play Summoner's Warp while you're doing everything except driving. Don't do it while you're driving. That's a mistake. But you could do it pretty much everywhere. So I like the idea of rewarding the people that play a lot. If you play a whole lot and the event's over, in 3 or 4 days, you're like, oh, that was fun, and now it's over. I don't know, maybe the rewards are lessened, but at least something for the people that play really hardcore, and they gotta step up the creativity, I think, in my opinion. Another thing we all bitch about is the SD farming. Is another thing that needs to be fixed. They need to add, I don't know, all of the 3 stars or something, or most of them. There's just something that just doesn't make sense that they're not in there. Like, for instance, I'm a bitch about this because I'm building this stupid guy. My TN, the light drunken master, like, I was crossing my fingers and hoping that it was going to be the SD this past weekend or whatever, when we had was it the mummy? Yeah, the mummy. But I don't know why there's not like the wind. It's not like he's broken. He's just a dumb monster I'm using to have some fun with. But there's a lot of 3 stars that don't have SDs that just don't. doesn't make sense to me. If there's a valid reason, then fine. But I don't see there being a valid reason. So the other thing is, there should just be I don't know, maybe a Summoners War advertised channel, or just click, like you just go to the SD channel or whatever it may be, because the chat system, which I'll talk about a little bit, is really awful. And when half of the chat is people on the SD days, just, hey, you got a Bella SD or Lightning Gummy SD, 39 out of 40, 39 out of 40 all day. And then you also have spammers that are clearly cheating or clearly phishing, trying to get people's logins, and we're not doing anything about any of it. So it's like the community as a whole is just suffering because the chat system's so bad. I think that needs to be fixed. They should just make an SD specific farming channel. I think that would help a lot. And maybe in one of those loading screens, they should just promote, like, if you're looking for an SD, make sure to farm it, because a lot of people will just spam every channel looking for it and not be actually farming if they're looking for the light, they're not farming the light SD. They're just spamming all the channels. They're adding to the problem, not to the solution, which always drives me nuts. And then the other thing that I've heard, and I definitely agree, they should just make it so you get the you can farm the SDs of your guild mates, which is another thing that will help guilds as well. Because they can make SDs, even if we don't make a channel, right? Even if you don't make a channel, you just say, you know what, that's not going to work. There's going to be too many people, too much spamming, whatever. At that point, you just make it so people can make SD farming guilds. Like, hey, you want to, join this guild, you farm, maybe lower level players, maybe people that just like farming SDs, you do that and you make a guild out of it. Yeah, maybe you don't fight in guild battles, but look at, and I know I keep using this example, but look at Clash of Clans. Not every clan was a warring clan. There was farming clans, there's various different there was just friendly clans, there was farming, there was clans that would always try to lose, but that was their plan, to lose wars, because they just still gained gold and I don't even remember, was it Elixir? Yeah, Elixir and Dark Elixir, and they didn't care. So that's the thing, maybe they're not a guild that's going to do guild battles, but who cares? They're a guild that they have they have a goal together as a guild. So, and that's generally what a guild should have. They should have a goal. Talking about fixing chat, that's a major thing that needs to be done. Let's be real, this needs to be done when the game started. There needs to either be a report system where people could get banned. There needs to be, the block system needs to be fixed, because when you block somebody, I believe, and I could be wrong, if you log off and log on, they're not blocked anymore. I don't know. I don't believe it saves it, at least what I was told. But I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that one. But they should also, and I remember I gave this idea, and I got shot down so hard. What level is every spammer? Is it 7, 9? So just give us the ability to ban under a level. Like, that makes perfect sense. If all the spammers are level 7, I would block under 10 or whatever. Obviously that would not fully solve the problem, but it would at least help mitigate some of the issues. The major thing is just allowing us to block them permanently, and also come to us, get with it, man. Just get rid of these people. If they're advertising a clearly cheating site that's messing up the game, just get rid of them. Let us as a community report them easily. There needs to be a report button, because I think there's probably a way to report, but it's very convoluted and it does not make it easy on players. So just give me a report button. It makes it so you just have, once they got enough reports, you have maybe one guy that looks at it. You just hire one dude, maybe whatever. He looks at it, and as soon as you see they're posting a site that's bad for your game because they're cheating players out of stuff, then you just get rid of that account. It's real simple. The thing that everybody talks about is fixing security. We've touched on it a lot, but come on. That's a given. It's a big given. I mean, it's like the same reason. It's the same reason why I stopped playing Clash of Clans, because there was not a big benefit to continuing doing what I was doing, like legitimately, because you had people out there that were doing it, were cheating. Same thing here. You have people that are, why am I gonna continue to farm on my account legitimately when there's a chance that I can get my account stolen because of the game's inability to protect me? And that's definitely something that needs to be fixed. I know everybody's talked about it, but I'm gonna harp on it as well, because if I don't, it's a disservice to this video, the bitching about stuff that needs to be fixed. I'll talk about 2 more quick things, and then I'm gonna call this video. We should just have more. There needs to be more monsters. I'm not talking about more 5 stars. I would even take more 3 stars. I just like having the ability to build more monsters. You know, I mean, I build really weird 3-star monsters just for fun, because that's what this game is about. You're building interesting monsters just to have fun. I mean, it's funny. A friend of mine, I'd 6-star something, and a friend of mine would be like, "Why did you 6-star that?" I'm like, "Dude, I have, you know, I don't even know how many, 50, 60, 6-stars. At a certain point in time, you're just, I call them projects. You're just doing something as a project, just because you're like, I want to try this out in this area." So I built Tien Kin, the light drunken master, because I want to try. I've seen him used in raid, and I was like, I want to try him in raid. And there's a bunch of other random monsters that I've built that are just, you know, just ridiculous. But giving us new 3-star monsters, new stuff to test, I think that would be fun. And in the same vein, balancing patches. I mean, that was another big problem that a game like Clash of Clans had, but a game like League of Legends doesn't, where they come out with more balancing patches that kind of help to keep the game fresh. So, I mean, there's a lot of things I can continue to bitch about, but I think that we're going to call it from here. I appreciate anybody that watched this video. My name is Jesse. I'm with Baited Gaming. Thank you.